What if the world you see isn't the world that is? Imagine that everything you experience, the ground beneath your feet, the red of a sunset, the sound of a voice, is not objective truth, but a story crafted inside your skull. This isn't science fiction. It's one of the most profound questions in science and philosophy. We assume we're directly connected to an external reality, but neuroscience suggests otherwise. Consciousness, the feeling of being you, remains a mystery. How does a brain create the world of sights, sounds, and thoughts? Is reality a stage where consciousness appears, or does consciousness build the stage? The idea that our minds construct reality is ancient, but neuroscience now shows the brain is not a passive receiver. It's an active, predictive engine. Your perception is not a window onto the world, it's a controlled hallucination, a story your brain tells to make sense of sensory signals. This challenges our intuition. We think we simply open our eyes and see the world, but each of us lives in a unique perceptual world, shaped by our brain's predictions and experiences. The real question: to what extent do we create reality? Are we just coloring in the lines or sketching the lines themselves? This is the journey ahead, exploring the interplay between the universe within and the universe without. Let's begin. Here's a startling fact. You've never directly experienced the outside world. Every sight, sound, and sensation is a construction of your brain. Take the color red. Out there, it's just wavelengths of light. Your brain translates that into the experience of redness inside you. The same goes for sound pressure waves, which become music or speech only in your mind. This is a controlled hallucination. Our perceptions are generated from within, but constantly updated by sensory signals. Your brain is always making its best guess about what's out there. What you experience is that guess. Optical illusions reveal the rules your brain uses to build your world. If all we access is our own consciousness, how can we be sure there's an external world at all? Philosophical idealism asks this very question. Most scientists assume a mind-independent reality, but we can't prove it. We're locked inside our own perceptual bubble. We assume our hallucinations match reality because it works for survival. We're not passive observers. We're active participants in generating our experienced world. Reality is something your brain builds moment by moment. The mystery deepens. How does a brain build an entire universe of experience, complete with a sense of self? The illusion is so seamless we rarely notice it's happening. Our reality is a story, not a direct reflection. And that story is unique to each of us. To understand how the brain builds our world, consider predictive processing. The brain is a prediction machine. It doesn't just wait for sensory input, it constantly generates predictions about what's coming next. These predictions flow from higher brain areas down to sensory regions, forming hypotheses about the world. What you perceive is this prediction, not raw data. Sensory signals act as feedback, prediction errors telling the brain how well its guess matches reality. If there's a mismatch, the brain updates its model, or if the prediction is strong, changes perception to fit. This is why expectations shape what we see and hear. Pareidolia. Seeing faces in clouds shows top-down predictions overriding ambiguous data. We read jumbled text because our brains fill in the gaps. Conscious experience is the feeling of a stable, successful prediction. Reality is the brain's best guess, constantly fine-tuned by error correction. Consciousness isn't a ghost in the machine. It's part of this predictive process. Our reality is a dynamic inference, not a static thing. The story of the world is written and rewritten in our minds. Predictive processing explains how perceptions form, but what makes a perception conscious? The global workspace theory likens the mind to a theatre. Countless unconscious processes work backstage, but only what's on the stage enters consciousness. Consciousness is the brain's way of broadcasting important information to the whole system, making it available for planning, memory, and action. What you're conscious of is what's on your mind stage right now. Integrated information theory, or IIT, takes another approach. It says consciousness is the system's capacity for integrated information, how unified and informative an experience is. Anything with a non-zero phi has some degree of consciousness. Brains have high phi. Simple devices, almost none. IIT suggests consciousness isn't limited to brains. It's a property of any system with the right structure. This opens the door to consciousness in animals, infants, and maybe even simple systems. These theories push us to rethink what consciousness is. and where it might be found. Consciousness could be more widespread than we imagine. The stage of the mind might be bigger than we think. Even with these theories, we hit a wall, the hard problem of consciousness. We can explain how the brain processes information, but not why it feels like something to be you. Why is there a first-person world of color, sound, and emotion? Why aren't we just complex zombies reacting without inner life? No theory yet explains how subjective experience emerges from physical processes. Some suggest consciousness is a fundamental property of the universe, like mass or charge. Perhaps once we fully understand the brain, the gap will be bridged. For now, the complex problem keeps us humble. The true nature of our being remains a profound mystery. Some thinkers flip the script. What if consciousness is primary, not matter? This is idealism. Reality is fundamentally mental. Berkeley said, "To be is to be perceived." If reality is mental, there's no gap between mind and world. The challenge: why does the world seem objective? Berkeley's answer was God. Modern idealists suggest a universal consciousness. Panpsychism offers another view. Consciousness is a basic feature of all matter, present even in electrons. Human consciousness is built from countless micro-consciousnesses. These ideas, once fringe, are gaining attention. They take consciousness seriously as part of reality's foundation. Ancient traditions like Buddhism have long explored the codependence of mind and world. Such perspectives challenge our deepest assumptions. Maybe consciousness is woven into the fabric of existence itself. Quantum mechanics adds another twist. At the subatomic level, observation seems to affect reality. Before measurement, particles exist in a cloud of probabilities. Observation collapses them into a definite state. Some speculate consciousness causes this collapse, making reality concrete. Physicist John Wheeler proposed the universe and observers are locked in a self-creating loop. The universe gives rise to observers, who in turn give reality to the universe. The Orch-Orr theory suggests consciousness arises from quantum processes in the brain, but this is highly controversial. Most scientists doubt the brain can sustain quantum effects. In quantum mechanics, observation doesn't require consciousness. Any interaction suffices. Still, these ideas persist, hinting at a deep link between the mysteries of mind and matter. The observer and the observed may be more connected than we realize. The debate continues. Focusing only on the brain misses a key point. We're not brains in vats. Embodied cognition argues that our bodies shape our minds and our environment. Thinking is something the whole organism does, in constant dialogue with the world. Our actions shape our experience. A chair is sittable, a doorknob graspable. Consciousness co-creates reality through a loop of perception and action. Therapy, such as CBT, works by retraining the predictive mind, changing thoughts to alter reality. Mental illness can be seen as the brain stuck in maladaptive predictions. Embodied cognition raises questions for AI. Can a disembodied machine ever be conscious? Perhaps true consciousness requires a body, one that acts and learns in the world. Our reality is forged through this perception-action loop. The mind extends into the world it helps create. So, does consciousness create reality? The answer isn't simple. Consciousness doesn't spin reality from nothing, nor is it just a passive mirror. The truth is a dynamic dance, a feedback loop between the observer and the observed. Our brains generate our experienced world through controlled hallucination. In this sense, we each create our own reality. But this creation is tethered to an external world, constantly updated by sensory signals. Life is a co-creative dance. The universe provides raw potential. Our consciousness sculpts it into meaning. Mind and matter are two aspects of a single unfolding process. Reality and consciousness co-emerge and define each other. We are the universe's way of experiencing itself. This gives our lives wonder and responsibility. The world is not just found, it's made. So what kind of reality do you choose to create? The dance continues, and your perspective is part of it.